Hello, mighty companion. This is Earl Purdy, and I want to welcome you to Hardcore Course in Miracles right here on Facebook Live. And we're going to continue with our theme of how do you have real safety? How can you make sure that you don't attract attack or harm or hurt to yourself, according to A Course in Miracles? So if you've ever wanted to feel real safety, but you want a different approach to it, that's perhaps different from what you learned, then that's what we're going to be covering in A Course in Miracles. And we always start out with a little music from Brother John Christmas at www.johnchristmas.com to allow us to kind of let go of whatever else we were doing and allowing us to become centered. And then we're going to go into some deep, deep Course in Miracles teaching. And so here we go. Take a breath. Take a breath. Take a breath. Here we go. There's a call for God, I see it everywhere. Everybody's running scared, and everything is turning upside down. But the words I hear keep coming through from deep inside of me and you. It's telling us that love is who I am, and you too. You and me were not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start. Tell me, can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one. Yeah, yeah, we are one. Now let's come together and understand that love was born inside of everyone. He's waiting for us to choose love as ourselves. When you choose love, you know you choose me too. And everyone becomes a part of you. And then you will know that love is who I am. Not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start. Tell me, can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one. Yeah, yeah, we are one. Oh, we are one. Hey, mighty companions, this is Earl Purdy. I'm so glad that you're with me for Hardcore. This is Hardcore Course in Miracles, that is especially aimed at Course in Miracles students who are actually studying the Course in Miracles, actually interested in the Course in Miracles, especially. Like I always say, everything is in divine order. So anybody that's watching, I know it's in divine order, but especially with Hardcore Course in Miracles, I'm focusing on being most supportive after 43 years of teaching and studying it. I want to be especially helpful to people who are ready to have miracles and people who are studying A Course in Miracles. And we're going to continue in the lesson, in my defenselessness, my safety lies, in A Course in Miracles, the Blue Book, Foundation for Inner Peace version of A Course. And it's going to be lesson 153, page 284 in the Course in Miracles workbook. Page 284, lesson 153. And we are going to start out with paragraph 12. And paragraph 12 is actually on page 286. Paragraph 12 is on page 286 in the workbook. So I'd like you to take a breath right now. Just relax. Just relax. That's right. I got a birthday continuation day coming up tomorrow, December 15th. I love how the Course in Miracles says birth is not a beginning, that your birth is a continuation. Your birth, do you know that your birth is a continuation? Whenever someone is born, that's just a soul that's continuing. So we're going to be, and we're going to start with lesson 12, but first we're going to do the guidelines, the rules for studying A Course in Miracles. What is it that you need to remember? You need to remember that you need not believe the ideas. Do you know that you need not accept the ideas? And do you know that you need not even welcome the ideas? Some of the ideas you may actively resist. Some of the ideas. Some of the ideas you will find hard to believe. And some of the ideas may seem to be quite startling. Do you know that you are not being asked to judge the ideas at all? We're not going to analyze the ideas. So what is it that's going to give the ideas meaning to you? It's the use of these ideas that will give the ideas meaning to you, and it's the use of the ideas that will show you that the ideas are true. So, using it. So we're going to start out with paragraph 12. And don't forget, our purpose is to, from A Course in Miracles perspective, how do we allow ourselves to have safety in this world? It's in our defenselessness, not looking at everything as if everything is out to get you in some way, or that everything in the outer world is posing some kind of threat to you, or that there are some people that are posing a threat to you. So I'm going to give you, I want to especially ask you, if you have the books, and some of you don't, that's okay. But if you have the book, follow along with me, because I'm going to give you some tips on how to read the Course to make it an easier journey for you. I'm defending against the truth right now through having what the Course would call what we would call a scratchy throat, which would make sense since I want to speak the truth. It would make sense that right now it would be my throat that's giving me a little bit of a challenge, right? Well, this actually, to me, proves the Course in Miracles is true, because the Course in Miracles says that sometimes we will create physical ailments in order to block the expression of the truth or realizing the truth, and to try to convince ourselves that we are only physical bodies. Because the thing that keeps us thinking that we're only physical bodies is some form of pleasure or some form of pain or discomfort. Do you know the Course says sickness is a defense against the truth? It's just a trick. What kind of trick? Sickness is a trick to make you think that you are only a physical body. But what you really are is spirit. You are a spiritual being having a physical human experience. I'm the divine repetition teacher. In my 40 years of sharing the Course in Miracles, there's nothing more important, according to the Course, than repetition. So I do a lot of repetition. It's not about the speed, it's about remembering. So salvation, which is your healing, do you know that salvation, which is your healing, you learning how to really forgive yourself and love yourself. Do you know that it can be thought of as a game that happy children play? So does that mean that everything that you are doing to move into love and enlightenment and awakening and peace should be thought of as a game? It's a game that happy children play. So your healing, your happiness, it should be in the things that you do to allow yourself to have that healing and that happiness should be thought of as a game that happy children play. So your awakening, your healing, your safety, your happiness, how was it designed? Well, the Course says it was designed by God, who loves God's children. I do the Course in Miracles in plain language. So your Creator designed a way for you to come into love and happiness. And your Creator loves you. And your Creator designed a game for you to enjoy that would allow you to wake up to your true spiritual identity. So the Course in Miracles says your healing, your salvation was designed by God, who loves God's children and who would replace their fearful toys with joyous games. The Course in Miracles calls what we utilize in the physical world a toy. And God wants to replace all of our fearful toys with joyous games. And what is a joyous game? A joyous game is a way to learn who you really are. And the joyful game is a game that teaches you that fear is gone. So as you continue on your spiritual path and as you continue to recognize the spiritual truth about yourself, your joy should increase and your fear should decrease. So let yourself hear this. Listen to me now, listen to me now, listen to me now. The joyous game that comes from God, your joyous game that comes from your Creator, it instructs in happiness, because the game that God teaches you is a game in which there is no loser. You cannot follow the truth and lose. No one who follows the path of truth loses. No one who follows the path that the Creator has designed for them sees themselves as losing. So does that mean any game that comes from love, that anything you do to wake up and to heal, that comes from love, that comes from God, does that mean no one loses? That's exactly what the Course in Miracles says. Everyone who plays must win. And in his winning is the gain to everyone ensured. So what does that mean? You're going to win. There is no such thing as losing. You will wake up to the truth of who you are. You will come into your total and complete happiness and joy and love. You will be healed. You will be healed. You will be happy. You will be healed. You will be happy. You will be safe. You will be unafraid, because the game that comes from your Creator is a game that instructs in happiness, because there is no loser. That means what? What does that mean, there is no loser? It means everyone who plays the game of forgiveness and love and waking up to who they really are must win. And in your winning is the gain to everyone ensured. Every time you win, every time you're happy, every time you're joyful, every time you experience abundance, every time you feel connected, everyone benefits. Everyone benefits. When you win, everybody wins. A game that comes from spirit is a game in which there is no loser. So when you are playing a game that you can't lose, and you're playing a game that everyone wins and everyone benefits because you are benefiting, what is laid aside? Well, the next line says, the game of fear is gladly laid aside. So when are you going to lay down your fear, your anger, your guilt, your depression? The Course in Miracles says, well, you're going to lay down anger and guilt and grievances and sickness and sadness when you come to see the benefits salvation brings. Do you know the Course in Miracles defines salvation as right-mindedness, correct-mindedness, love, truth, peace? So when you see the benefits of following the path of God in love and peace, as a Course in Miracles student, when you see the benefits of utilizing the teachings of A Course in Miracles, the more you see the benefits of the truth, the more you see the benefits of forgiveness, what are you going to do? You're going to stop playing games. You're going to stop doing things that keep you afraid. How can you tell when you're not following the true plan for your safety and happiness? When you're not perceiving correctly, and when you're not following the true plan for your happiness, then the Course in Miracles says you play the fear game. And when you look out into the world, many people are playing the fear game. They're afraid about one thing or another thing. Paragraph 13 in lesson 153. I want you to just let yourself hear what I'm about to say. You who have played that you are lost to hope. Some people are playing like, I have no hope. Those who are playing that they have been abandoned by their Creator. Some people believe that God has abandoned them. You who have played that you are left alone in terror in a fearful world. There are some people feel like they are alone and they are terrified of a very frightening world. Do you know that? Do you know that some people believe that they have no hope? Some people believe that they have been abandoned by their Creator. Do you know that some people believe that they have been left alone in terror in a frightening world? A frightening world made mad by the belief in sin and the belief in guilt. Because if you believe in sin and you believe in guilt, the Course in Miracles says it's going to drive you mad. It's going to drive you insane believing that you are sinful or guilty. So are you a person who feels in some area of your life that you're lost to hope? Do you feel like in some area of your life you've been abandoned by your Creator or left alone in terror in a frightening world, made mad by the belief in sin or the belief in guilt? What is it you're supposed to do if you've been playing the fear game? That's what the Course in Miracles calls the game of fear. So what do? It says, well, be happy now. What? Be happy now. Because the game of fear, the game that you've been playing that you have no hope, the game that you've been playing that you've been abandoned by God, the game that you've been playing that you are left alone in terror in a fearful world where you feel guilt. The Course in Miracles says you are not playing that game anymore. That game is over for you. I'll say it again. That game is over for you. The game of fear, the game of being abandoned, the game of having lost hope, that game of being terrified and fearful and alone, that game is over for you. That game is over for you. So now, where are you? You are now in a quiet time. It's time for you to be in what kind of time? A quiet time. What happens if you're in a quiet time? What happens if you're really in a quiet time? Well, the Course in Miracles says if you're in a quiet time, you're going to put away the toys of guilt. In other words, you're going to have peace and quiet when you let go of the idea that you are guilty. You're going to have peace when you let go of any idea that you are guilty. You are not guilty. You are not guilty. You are not guilty. You are not guilty. That if there's anything that you're feeling guilty about, let it go. Put away that guilt toy. Put away the toys of guilt and the toys of anger and the toys of separation and the toys of fear. So what else do you need to do? You need to lock your quaint and childish thoughts of sin forever from the pure, innocent minds of heaven's children and the child of God. Now, what does that mean? Get rid of any idea that you are sinful. If you want to be safe, get rid of any idea that you are sinful. You are not sinful. You might make mistakes, and mistakes are for correction. You might make mistakes. You may have made a mistake in this situation. You may have made a mistake in this circumstance. You may have made a mistake in this relationship, but you have not sinned. You are not guilty. If you want to be safe, you have to let go of thoughts like you are guilty, you are sinful, you are separate. Those are the core ideas and thoughts that make pain and suffering an attack. All attack comes from the idea of separation from God, and all attack comes from thoughts of being guilty or sinful or separate at some level. You see, the Course in Miracles is giving us the real way to have safety. If your mind creates your experience, if your mind and your thoughts create what happened to you in your perception, which is, do you know that's exactly the way it is? Your thoughts, your beliefs, your thoughts, your beliefs determine the world you see and the world you experience. Do you know that is why you are not a victim of the world you see? Because it's your thoughts, your beliefs, your feelings that are manifesting what you perceive and what you experience. So the Course in Miracles, what is it doing? Well, it's telling you, you got to let go of that game of fear and guilt and you being separate from love and separate from your Creator, because those are the thoughts that cause lack, sickness, attack, So what do we do next? In lesson 153, paragraph 14, it says, we pause. I'm going slow because the Course in Miracles says, read me slowly. Slow down, Course in Miracles students. Slow down. Let yourself hear what Jesus of A Course in Miracles is saying to you. So what are we going to do right now? We are going to pause for how long? We're going to pause for a moment more. Why are you going to pause right now? To play our final happy game upon this earth. You're getting ready to play your last happy game on this earth. Do you know that you are getting ready to play your last happy game on this earth? And when you allow yourself to experience joy and peace and safety and oneness and connection on this earth, then you have played your final happy game. So what happens after you accept that you deserve perfect happiness? Do you know you deserve to be perfectly happy? You deserve to be totally happy. What happens when you learn your spiritual lessons that the Course in Miracles teaches you? Then you are going to have total joy. What happens next? Well, then you are ready to take your rightful place. Take your rightful place. Is it time for you to take your rightful place? Take your rightful place. It's time to take your rightful place. Take your rightful place. It's time for you to take your rightful place. Take your rightful place. Where is your rightful place? Where is your rightful place where truth abides? Where truth abides. Do you want to be where truth abides? Do you want to be where truth abides? I want to be where truth abides. 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 You want to be where truth abides. You want to be where truth abides. And what happens when you are where truth abides? Then the game of thinking that you are fearful or in lack or alone or sick, those types of games are meaningless when you abide in your rightful place. Where is your rightful place? Your rightful place is where love abides. Are you in a place where you feel loved? Are you in a relationship that you feel loved? Are you in an environment where you feel loved? Then you are in a place where truth abides. I want to give you an experience. I do not want this just to be an analytical head trip. I want us to open our hearts and let ourselves hear what I'm about to say. When you abide in love and you're no longer playing games of guilt and anger and grievances, so is the story ended. What is it that we need to do this day? We need to bring the last chapter closer to the world. You are here to bring the last chapter closer to the world. You are here to help everyone learn that the stuff that they read about, terrifying destiny, you're here so that everybody can learn that their hopes are not defeated. You're here to inspire. You're here to help others remember that the defeat of their hopes can never be. That you're a pitiful defense trying to defend yourself against all these external threats? You believing that God isn't there, that you don't have help, that you are alone? Do you know the Course calls that your deluded fantasy? That you could be here without unlimited, invisible, and visible support? That's your deluded fantasy. Do you know that if you think you have a destiny that terrifies you in some way, if you feel like your hopes have been defeated in some way, do you feel like sometimes things are going against you and that things are out to get you? The Course says your pitiful defense against a vengeance you cannot escape is only your own deluded fantasy. To think you can't be loved is a deluded fantasy. To believe that you are alone is a deluded fantasy. Thinking that you are guilty or sinful or bad is a deluded fantasy. Thinking that you cannot be healed in this situation or circumstance that you're in right now is a deluded fantasy. So what are you? What are you? You are God's minister. What does that mean? It means that you are love's messenger. A minister is a messenger. I'm here to give a message. I'm here to be a minister of love, to give a message of love, a message of freedom, a message of love, a message of freedom. Do you know that you will be safe, truly safe in this world, in your perception, if you do what you incarnated in your body to do? You have a mission. You have a part in the healing of the world that was made just for you, and you accepted that role before you incarnated into the physical body that you are in. So that makes you God's minister, love's minister. So why are you here? You are not here just to go to a football game or just some external physical pleasure that you like, even though it's wonderful if you enjoy physical pleasures. The reason you are on this earth is to wake up the people that you love from the dark dreams of fear. This story, what story? The story that you are just a human being that was born into a body that is growing up and is going to die one day. And in the meantime, you're just trying to see if you can be safe and get some relationships and just take care of your material security needs. The Course in Miracles says that this is a dark dream when you believe that. You are not limited. You are unlimited. You are unlimited. So God's ministers have come to awaken others from the dark, fearful dreams this story has evoked in their confused, bewildered memory of this distorted tale. You can smile at last. Why is it that you can smile at last? Well, you can smile at last on learning that the dream's story is not true. This story that we are hearing of fear and separation and danger that we are hearing, that story is not true. It looks true. Sometimes all of the things that seem to be going on in our perception looks true. It feels true, but it's not true. You are invulnerable. You are a child of God. You are a co-creator. You are a super being. You are part of all that is. You are not a body. You are free. You are free in this situation that you're dealing with right now. You are free in this circumstance that you're dealing with right now. But you're having the deluded fantasy, maybe, that you are a victim of a situation or circumstance. That's your deluded fantasy. So why is it that you can smile? You can smile because I'm telling you that it's not true. It's not true. It's not true that you are unloved. It's not true that you are alone. It's not true that you don't have help. It's not true. It's not true. It's not, everything that makes you afraid is not true. So what do we do today? Today we practice. How are we going to practice today? We're going to practice in a form we will maintain quite a while. Okay, so we're getting ready to practice so that you can have safety and I can have safety. We're getting ready to practice. So we will begin each day. What are you going to begin each day with? You're going to begin each day with giving your attention to the daily thought as long as possible. Like, for instance, in my defenselessness, my safety lies. That is lesson 153. That's the lesson that we are in right now, that you're listening to. So what you would do is you would give as much attention to that thought. My safety lies in my defenselessness. My safety lies in me not attacking. My safety lies in me not attacking. Defenselessness. My true safety lies in me not attacking. I'm tempted to go off on this person right now, but I have to remember that my safety, my abundance, the love that I want, the freedom that I want, the health that I want, the relationships of love that I won't have those if I am defended, if I am constantly attacking, if I'm constantly expecting someone to hurt me in some way. Then that thinking attracts attack and harm. So it's in my defenselessness in this situation. That's where my safety is. That's how I'm going to be safe. Not approaching everything from the perspective that every person is potentially a threat to me. Every situation is potentially a threat to me. Letting go of the idea slowly that everything around you could hurt you or threaten you in some way. That is the thought that protects you and keeps you safe. So you want to take whatever your Course in Miracles workbook lesson, and there are 365 of them, and you want to give that your attention as long as possible. So at the very least 5 minutes. In the morning, you want to give at least 5 minutes to preparation for a day in which your happiness, your right-mindedness, your salvation is the only goal we have. So can you take 5 minutes to focus on your peace, your joy, and your happiness and your healing and your connection to Source, God? Out of all the stuff that you focus in on every day, can you take 5 minutes at least making God the only goal you have? Can you make love the only goal you have? Can you make oneness the only goal you have? Can you make freedom the only goal you have? Can you make God the only goal you have for at least 5 minutes? Can you make forgiveness be the only goal you have for 5 minutes? Do you know that if you develop this ability to focus on those thoughts only create love and peace and safety and joy? If you could give 10 minutes to the thought that you only want love, you only want peace, you only want God, if you could just give 15 minutes every day to the goal of love, the goal of God, the goal of oneness, all those things that you're worried about, your bills, your job, your health, your relationships, all those things that you are worrying about would disappear. They would disappear if you were to take 5, 10, 15 minutes every day focusing on your, for instance, your Course in Miracles lesson for that day, or focusing on your goal of God, your goal of truth. So what happens when you're distracted with believing that you're a victim? What happens when you're distracted with your concerns and worries about this situation and that situation and everything that you're dealing with right now? The Course in Miracles calls that a distraction. A distraction is anything you focus on instead of God, anything you focus on instead of the truth, anything you focus on more than your awakening, anything you focus on more than your peace is a distraction. Anything, anybody, anything that becomes more important to you than your peace is a distraction. A distraction. Not having enough money in your perception to pay your bills is a distraction. Having a relationship that you're constantly trying to change each other and upset with each other is a distraction. A job that you go to that gives you no inspiration or joy is a distraction. And the more you stop letting those distractions turn you from your purpose, do you know that you will find that half an hour is too short a time to spend with God? You're going to get to the point that 30 minutes is not enough time to spend with the truth. 30 minutes are not enough time to spend with God. I've been getting more and more people contacting me saying, "Hey, Earl, when are you going to do a workshop? You know, when are we going to have more time together to do the truth? Because an hour isn't enough. Because I want to experience the truth, the Course in Miracles, for more than an hour through you." See, as you stop being distracted by your old programming and your old conditioning that teaches you that you are a body and separate, and that there's guilt and sin, or guilt and anger and grievances, that's what you are, that's what you're made of, that you're not enough, that you're not valuable. As you begin to get rid of those distractions, because that's what that is, it's a distraction. Negative thoughts, so-called negative thoughts, are just a distraction. And then you'll get to the point that 30 minutes isn't enough for you to spend with love, with God, your creator, because you will be seeing the benefits. Because now you are playing the game that happy children that are divine play. And you are going to get to the point that you will not give less than 30 minutes at night in gratitude and in joy. See, we have to know what the goal is. If you don't have a goal, then you can't evaluate your progress. See, if I have the goal of being defenseless, if I have the goal of not being defensive, if I have the goal of not looking at you or anyone else in terms of being a threat to me, as the very first thing I think is that you a stranger, I've got to be afraid, the world is out to get me, someone is trying to hurt me. That is the fear game. That is the delusional fantasy. And if you believe it, now this is the thing that's a trip. If you believe the world is a dangerous place, and that is your core belief that creates your defensiveness, then the world you are perceiving and experiencing will seem like it's a very dangerous, frightening, threatening place. Because are you aware that your perception always reflects your beliefs? So if you're looking for the worst, then you find the worst. If you're looking for condemnation and judgment and attack, then it looks like you find it. But the Course in Miracles says that's you having a deluded fantasy, because your creator, God, love, would never create a world, a reality where you could be hurt and you could be harmed. But you don't see that safe reality. Why is it that you don't see that safe reality? Because you are looking at your thoughts, your beliefs, your deluded fantasies of danger and fear. If you see it anywhere in the world, it's in your mind. Whatever you see, whatever you hear is in your mind. So you can't say you're seeing something that's not in your mind. Everything you see is a reflection of some thought, feeling, or emotion in you and your mind. So what does A Course in Miracles do? A Course in Miracles undoes those fearful thoughts that create hurt and danger and pain. And the Course in Miracles replaces the thoughts that produce the problems that you have with thoughts that heal every challenge and every problem you think you have. So it's time to let each hour add to your, what is it that each hour needs to add? Each hour needs to add peace for you that increases. It's time for you to have increasing peace. It's time for you to have increasing peace now. It is time for you to have peace that increases in this situation. It's time now for you to allow now the healing, the happiness, the solution that you want in this circumstance, situation, and relationship that you may be in right now. Remember to be faithful. What is it you need to be faithful to? Be faithful to the will you share with God. Be faithful to the will you share with God. Earl, what does that mean? Well, God's will for you is perfect happiness. God's will for you is perfect happiness. The only thing that the creator of love wants for you is perfect, complete happiness. I'll say it again. The only thing that God wants for you, the creator wants for you, the universe wants for you, is your total and complete safety and happiness. And if you don't see that, it's because you're looking at something else. You're looking at your thoughts, and you're looking at the thoughts of the world, and you're looking at the thoughts of fear and separation in your mind. And those thoughts of fear and separation and guilt and anger and unforgiveness and grievances in your mind produces your perception of a world that seems chaotic and dangerous to you. It's coming from your thoughts. So at times, perhaps a minute or even less, perhaps a minute or even less will be the most we can offer as the hour strikes. Sometimes every hour, you may not be able to give but a minute to your workbook lesson. You may not be able to give but a minute to, let's say, the thought, in my defenselessness, my safety lies. In this, on this job, in this situation I'm in today, my safety is gonna lie in me not being defensive. It's gonna lie in me not expecting to be hurt or attacked in this situation. It's in my defenselessness my safety lies. See, that's a workbook lesson. So sometimes you might not be able to give but a minute to your workbook lesson. Sometimes, it says sometimes we will forget. Do you know that there are going to be times that you just forget what the Course in Miracles or what the truth teaches you? There are going to be times when you forget to be loving. There are going to be times when you forget to not attack. There's going to be times when you forget that you're totally loved and totally innocent. There are going to be times when you forget to do your study and to do your workbook lessons in A Course in Miracles. There's going to be times when you forget to do your path. At other times, all the business of the world is going to close in on you. At other times, it's going to look like you're so caught up in what's going on in the world. And so you won't be able to withdraw a little while because you'll be so caught up in your day-to-day stuff that you got to do that sometimes you will be unable to withdraw a little while and turn your thoughts to God. Sometimes we don't remember the truth. Sometimes we don't remember our path. Sometimes we don't remember what the Course is teaching us. Sometimes we don't remember what the truth is trying to teach us because we get so caught up in the world and all the things that we think we have to do in the world. And the Course in Miracles says that at other times the business of the world will close on us and we will be unable to withdraw a little while and to turn our thoughts to love and to turn our thoughts to God and turn our thoughts to oneness. The Course knows that you, and it's telling you, Jesus in the Course is telling you, the Holy Spirit, the higher power is telling you that sometimes you're not going to be able to focus on the truth for just a moment. Sometimes you're going to forget the truth altogether. Sometimes you're going to get so caught up in the world that you're unable to withdraw a little while and turn your thoughts to God. But try to. Every time you get a moment, try to. This is how you're going to be safe in this world. It's not the conventional ways of thinking about safety that's going to give you true safety. It's not the world's ideas of burglar alarms and having bigger armies and police department and all these things are beautiful in at their own level, but that's not going to be where your safety comes from. Your safety is going to come from not expecting attack, knowing that you're safe, playing the game of truth. That's what defenselessness means. So I'm going to do a quick recap in just a moment. I'm Earl Purdy, a full-time teacher of A Course in Miracles. If you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation, you can use Venmo, the Cash App, PayPal, Zelle. All you need is my email address, earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. Earl Purdy, P-U-R-D-Y. Earl Purdy @earlpurdy.com. I'm available for one-on-one coaching, mentoring, and advising. But you're responsible for letting yourself hear and what choices you make. But I'm available for one-on-ones. They're called clarity sessions. Go to my website, www.earlpurdy.com, and you can find out more details about my clarity sessions, and you can self-book a session with me right online. I have my videos on YouTube and on Facebook. YouTube and on Facebook, there are hundreds of videos. Sundays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. Sundays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time on Facebook. On the Earl Purdy page, on Facebook, 1 o'clock p.m. on Sundays, I do another Facebook Live on the Course in Miracles. And you can attend in person if you're in Denver, Colorado. at 1555 Race Street. 1555 Race Street, Denver, Colorado, 80206. You can attend in person. Thursdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, we do Hardcore Course in Miracles, which is what we're doing right now. And my videos get lots and lots of replays, and I appreciate that. Please share these videos. Please follow my page and share these videos. I know that you are noticing that the world has been playing the game of fear, and it looks like it's playing the fear game deeper and more intensely than ever before. But you are ready to play the game that happy, loving God children play. So that's 7 p.m. Mountain Time on the Earl Purdy page, Hardcore Course in Miracles. Make sure I got everything. All right. Now listen. Take a breath. Do you know you're playing a game that happy children play, that was designed by God, that was designed by God? God loves you. God would replace your fearful toys with joyous games. It's time for you to learn that the game of fear is gone. In this situation, the game of fear is gone. Do you know that God's game is going to instruct in happiness? The Course in Miracles instructs in happiness. Because, do you know, in happiness, there is no loser. There is no loser. You cannot lose in the situation you're in. You cannot lose in the circumstance you're in. You cannot lose in the relationship that you're in, because the game you're playing now is a game where everybody who plays must win. Do you know that in your winning, everybody's benefit is insured? Every time you're happy, every time you feel love, we all benefit. Do you know the game of fear? You are laying it aside. You're going to see the benefits of where the truth abides. You're not going to play the game that you're lost to hope anymore. You're not going to play the game that you've been abandoned by God anymore. You were not left alone in a fearful world, made mad by insanity and made mad by guilt. Be happy now. Be happy now. Be happy now. Be happy now. Be happy that that game of anger and fear and lack and guilt is over. Put away your toys of guilt. Put away your toys of anger. It's time to let yourself be safe. 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 Mighty companions, listen to this at least 4 times. Share this video. Go back over this lesson 153. We started on paragraph 12. Because it's in your defenselessness, in your not expecting that you could be hurt or wanting to hurt anyone, in which your safety lies. Mighty companion, I love you. I love your comments. I'm so glad that there are other beings that are on a level of consciousness that they want to hear another way of looking at things that's really rooted in spiritual and metaphysical, higher consciousness truth. You are a minister of God. That means you are a messenger of love and truth to everyone around you. It doesn't mean you necessarily verbally preach or teach. What it means is that when you're in the presence of others, remember that they have a deluded fantasy. And some of them have a deluded fantasy that they don't have any hope. Some parts of us, called our brothers and sisters, have a deluded fantasy that they've been abandoned by God. Some of our brothers and sisters have the deluded fantasy that they've been left alone in terror in a fearful world. Do you know you need to be happy now? That fear, that painful game is over. I love you. See you next time.